Is Dolly Martinez one of the worst patients on my 600-pound life history? Let's discuss it. Hey everybody, it's Tony with Big T Bariatric and I'm back at you with another video. Today it is Monday, May 8th, 2023. I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. If you could do me a huge favor, look down below and see if you're subscribed to my channel, and if you're not, please hit that button, leave a like, leave a comment, and let me know what you think about that video. So, as many of you know, today was my very first day at my new job, and it was great. I didn't mind it at all. It wasn't really terribly difficult work, but I am pretty tired. I did wake up a little too early this morning because my brain just could not stop thinking, and I was a little nervous and everything else. So hopefully I will be able to get some extra sleep tonight. But I feel good working a full day, coming home from work, and now I get to make a video for you awesome people. It was great, but I was so tired that I recorded 10 minutes of this video and realized I forgot to turn my microphone on. So now I have to restart this video, but that's okay. I'm going to get right back into it. So, what's going on this week? I'm going to do a little more of these types of videos, the My 600-Pound Life clips, a few other different types of reactions, because they don't involve too much work for me. I mean, there is some work, there's some editing and stuff like that I got to do, but it's not going to be a lot of the ones I've been making lately, where I put a lot of research going into talking about somebody like Anna from Glitter and Lasers, or Hungry Fat Chick, or stuff like that. So I am working on a video on Life with Jen. All right, many of you have been requesting that one, so I am putting some work into it. I am looking at some things and trying to do some research and put a video together on that, but it's so big that there's a lot of stuff going on with her story that I want to get right, so it's going to take me a little bit more time to get some research done on that. So this week, look out for more of these types of videos. I hope you guys understand, and thank you very much for all of your patience, your love and support throughout this process, me applying for a job, getting it, and now today being my very first day. And so I am pretty tired, but I'm going to get into this. But first I want to talk about this Wednesday. There's not going to be a video. It's going to be Big Talks with Big T, and I'm going to be with Starzan. So those of you who don't know who she is, she has her own YouTube channel. You should go check her out. I'm going to leave a link down below where you can check out Starzan, but she's on her own weight loss journey. And so I'm going to have her on as a guest, and we're going to talk about some stuff, and it's going to be awesome. Also, she wants to do a collab with me on her channel, so that's going to be great. But also Wednesday, I recorded a video last week with Megan Ann. And so we've been talking about that for a while. She's had some stuff come up in her life, but we finally recorded it. And so she told me it's going to air on Wednesday. So Wednesday is going to be a big day. I'm not going to have a video for that day, but I will go live with Starzan. And then my video with Megan's going to air. So there's going to be enough content with me in it anyways on Wednesday. So yeah, look forward to that. There's some great stuff happening with this channel. We keep growing, and I really, really appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. So I'm going to get right into this video, but let me first give my disclaimer when it comes to my 600-pound life content. I always have to say this because even though I do say it, I still get people in the comments like, Big T, why are you pausing frequently? Well, here's the reason why. Again, all right, TLC does not like me. They always try to find ways to copyright my videos, even though I can legally use them under fair use copyright law, and I do whatever I can to transform the video, and so they still don't like me to use it. So I'm going to have to pause frequently, so be expectant of that. If you cannot stand that, then go watch the original clip. It's there for you. This is for people who want my commentary, who want me to describe and give my feelings on these people's lives, because I used to be almost 700 pounds. So I understand what they're going through, and I have my own unique perspective on it. Let's start right now.
Food is more than just a pleasure. It's my reason for existing. I can't wait for the first bite of something that will make me forget about all the misery of my life.
This is where a lot of them are at this point. Like, when I say that you cannot be happy and be this overweight, I do have some people who challenge me on that, and they're like, I'm overweight and I'm happy. But you can hear these stories of people who are being honest about their journey say, you know what, my life is so miserable, I'm in so much pain, that the only thing I look forward to is that first bite of food in the morning. Like, I don't even want to live anymore, but that first bite of food almost makes it worth it, that I wake up in misery. So it is a miserable existence for people who are over 600 pounds.
Every now and then, a 600-pound patient comes along and inspires us all with their determination, hard work, and true effort. That patient, however, is not Dolly. Welcome back to Plot Twist and our new Did They Even Try series. First up, we've got Dolly Martinez, and spoiler alert, no, she didn't even try. Like this video, subscribe to Plot Twist, grab a 10,000 calorie snack, and let's get started.
I can't even get out of bed anymore without getting help. When I do move around, I move really slow, and I have to be very cautious of each movement. And I have to wear this nasal cannula all the time.
That's the thing about being 600 pounds that I think a lot of people do not understand, especially smaller people who are able to walk and run and do all those normal things. A lot of you do not fear falling down, but when you're 600 pounds, like, that fear is intense. You're so scared of falling down. You fall down often. You're afraid of your knees buckling because you have so much weight on your body. And if you do fall down, the odds of you getting injured are like 99.9%, right? Because it's not just you going over, it's all that weight falling on top of you, falling on top of joints and bones that are already under a lot of stress. So the odds of you injuring yourself are pretty high. And on top of that, it's very, very easy to not really realize how difficult it's going to be to get back up, right? So yeah, when you're that heavy, you're not going to be able to get up on your own. You're going to need people. You're going to need to call 911 and have an ambulance or EMTs or firefighters come and try to pick you back up. And that's going to be difficult, and it's going to be embarrassing. All right? So the odds of falling down when you're bigger are increased, and the odds of being injured after falling down are also increased. And that is why a lot of big people do not go outside. They do not go for walks. They can exercise, they can shadow box, they can do things for exercise, but to expect big people to get up and go for a walk, that is a lot of fear that keeps them from doing that.
24 hours a day.
As soon as Dolly gets out of bed every morning, she puts in an oxygen tube right away. Try taking at least one breath on your own, Dolly. You're only 25.
25 years old. She needs an oxygen tube at 25 years old. That is ridiculous.
My weight has affected my lungs. I can hardly go to the bathroom on my own. I can't even help myself in the shower. Some days I skip it. And on the days that I do shower, I need Cheyenne and my mom to come watch me.
I mean, that's a dedicated friend who's going to come over to your house, wipe your butt, and help you shower. And I covered a lot of that in my video, Being 600 Pounds is Gross. I did it a few videos ago. Go check it out if you haven't seen it. But yeah, I talk about a lot of the stuff, and I use personal stories from my own life, things that 600-pound people cannot do, and I use clips from my 600-pound life as well, where you cannot wipe for yourself, you cannot shower for yourself, you cannot cook for yourself. Like, all these things you need people to do. So being 600 pounds means you do not get any privacy. Clothes do not fit you. You got skin showing everywhere. You got infections everywhere. I mean, being 600 pounds is gross. And you have zero privacy because you need somebody to live with you, to take care of you, because there's things that you cannot do at that size.
And speaking of not even trying, on some days, she admits she just doesn't even shower. No excuse, nothing. She just can't be bothered to put in the effort.
I live with my mother, but my best friend Cheyenne helps me when she's here sometimes. Cheyenne is a big girl like me too, so she understands where I'm coming from.
That's the thing, is I don't think you should have somebody who understands where you're coming from helping you out. I mean, it's great to have somebody who understands you. That's why I do this channel, and so many people are like, Big T, you're so compassionate. I love that about you. I love that you understand where they're coming from and you sympathize with them. And it's great to have somebody like that. But to have a big person living with you who seems to be getting bigger, it's like that almost seems like an enabler-enablee relationship. It's like, you're eating a lot of food, so if I come over to your house and help you out, I'm going to get to eat some of that food as well. So she's not somebody who's kicking your butt into gear. You might think that she loves you, and in a way she's showing you love by cleaning you and stuff like that. But at the same time, she's feeding you bad food. And you're feeding her bad food, as you're about to see in the next little clip. Like, it's Dolly making the food here, but I'm sure that her friend Cheyenne also makes some of the food. So it's like a give and take situation with enablers and enablees. I mean, it's like you need somebody who's going to kick your butt into gear, get you to work out, get you to eat less. Not somebody who's big and wants to and totally understands where you're coming from because they are also the same way. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Again, my brain is very tired tonight.
I met Dolly over the internet. We grew up not too far from each other. We didn't know each other. The moment I met her, it was just like a spark, like I know her my whole life. We became twins.
Cheyenne, her bestie that she met on the internet, does everything for her from the moment she wakes up.
I'll help give her a shower. If she needs anything else, I go and do it. I just love her like a sister. Like I may not have known her my whole life, but I feel like I did in my heart. And she's worth it.
These two haven't even known each other that long. They met online less than a year ago.
That's interesting to meet somebody and not even know them for a whole year. And already she's showering her and wiping her and taking care of her and cooking for her. Like, I wonder if there's any part of this relationship that's slightly romantic. And I'm not saying in the sexual tense, because let's face it, when you're that big and you got two big girls like that, you're not having any kind of sex, all right? So I wonder if there is some sort of romance that Cheyenne actually romantically loves Dolly here. I don't know, maybe.
Yet Cheyenne showers Dolly, puts cornstarch in her fat folds, and essentially waits on her hand and foot every day.
Food is my go-to drug that takes my pain away. And I love cooking for Cheyenne because Cheyenne loves my eggs and bacon. All right, Cheyenne, I'm gonna go start breakfast.
Cheyenne does everything until it's breakfast time. This is where Dolly really shines.
Food.
I mean, she's sitting there drooling, watching Dolly cook this food for her. Oh, she loves my eggs and bacon. It's like, yeah, she's a big girl. She's there and she's getting her reward too. Like, she's helping you do the things that you cannot do, but you're feeding her. Like, that is her reward for being your friend and doing that for you. So she gets something out of this. It's a give and take enablee relationship. Because if she really did care for you, Dolly, she would tell you that it's time to get your life going. But she herself is big and keeps getting bigger because she's hanging out with you. So you're not a good influence on her either.
Food is more than just a pleasure. It's my reason for existing. I can't wait for the first bite of something that will make me forget about all the misery of my life. Food has caused all of the things I hate about my life. But it's the only thing I've ever had to help me feel good.
I mean, that's an interesting perspective. Food has done all the things to me that has made my life miserable, but it's also the only thing that makes me feel good. And I talk about it a lot, how food is like a toxic, or a food addiction is like a toxic relationship with somebody. It's give or take in that way too. It's like when you're in a toxic relationship with somebody, you need them, you get some sort of pleasure from them. And so when you try to leave them because you realize they're hurting you, that they're a narcissist, that they're an abusive person, like when you try to leave that, it's like you miss the pleasure that they gave you. And so you keep going right back to it. And you keep going back to it and you keep going back to it, but it keeps hurting you and you know you need to leave and you know you're going to die if you don't leave that relationship. So you do leave for a time, but you miss that pleasure you got, so you keep going right back to it. It's like any person that's been in a toxic relationship. I think most of us know somebody who's been stuck in a very bad relationship with somebody. And for some reason, we don't understand why they don't leave. And they come and they cry on your shoulder and they're like, oh man, this person hit me. This person did this to me. And they abused me in this way, emotionally or physically or sexually. They abused me and oh, I don't know what to do about it. And you say, just leave them. Just leave them. You could stay here. You can go to a shelter. You can go back home. Like, you have options to leave that person. And 9 times out of 10, what happens? You get frustrated, right? Because they go right back to that person. And that's exactly what it is like with a food addiction. It's like no matter how much they hurt you, you go right back to it because you get some pleasure out of it.
For breakfast, she cooks 15 eggs and like 20 sausage links. She loads everything up with cheese, and then she tells the camera food is her reason for existing. I know, Dolly. I'm a visual learner.
Growing up, all I know is I was chunky. My mom was a massage therapist, and she divorced my father when I was like 2 years old because my dad was a drug addict, and he chose the streets and the drugs.
I got a hint.
I mean, that's how I kind of grew up. Both my parents were partiers. They were out and about doing their thing. My dad ended up in jail a few times because of his addictions and partying lifestyle. My mom was more focused on partying and stuff like that. So it was my grandparents who raised me for most of my childhood. But then the times when we would go back with them, because my grandparents did move back to Michigan and I was living in Texas at the time. It was a fight between my mom and dad. We'd live with them. We'd move back to my dad. Then we'd move in with my mom, and my dad would go to jail. So, it was back and forth. And it was a very difficult lifestyle because I never got to put roots down anywhere. I never got to meet friends and keep those friends. And so it was difficult. You know, I'd meet some friends and then we'd move and I'd have to meet new friends and start a new school. And then we'd move again and go to a new school and meet new friends. And so that sort of ended up, along with my ADHD, why I didn't get very good grades in school. And I seemed to just kind of really didn't have a good background. That's probably not the right word. I didn't have a good, really good educational foundation, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Like, when I was trying to learn multiplication and division in Texas, and then I ended up moving with my dad to Michigan, it's like they already had that stuff conquered. They already knew what division was and multiplication. I hadn't learned it yet, and they expected me to know it. So I've been behind in math since then.
Handed to her childhood was a little sad, but honestly, I've heard much worse backstories on this show. But this right here is where I stopped feeling sorry for her.
My mom being a lesbian was traumatic because kids would make fun of me and call me a lesbian.
When her mom came out as a lesbian, Dolly says kids at school bullied her just because her mom was gay. But then her mom comes through with the truth.
Dolly is not real good at bathing herself. She got in trouble for this in Job Corps.
I mean, so it's very easy to blame somebody else, right? I mean, we all do it, but at the end of the day, if you don't take care of yourself, if you're not willing to do the things that you need to do, ultimately you're the reason why you're not making friends. It's your miserable personality. It's the way that you smell. It's the way that you look. Like, we don't say that you have to meet modern beauty standards on this channel. Like, that is not the point. That is not what we're saying you need to reach. But if you cannot take care of yourself, if you cannot even do something basic as bathing, and you need help with that, like, that says a lot. And when you get that size, like, those easy things that everybody else does gets harder and harder to do. And then you wonder why people look at you, and you wonder why people stick their nose up when they walk past you. It's just, I mean, it's just reality. Big people smell. We can't wipe ourselves. We can't shower. Like, all these things accumulate into us smelling bad. We get infections under our rolls. Like, it all adds up.
After I completed my certificate, I worked at a restaurant as a prep cook. But you pretty much have to stand for hours. I was only able to stand up for like 20, 30 minutes. I tried working jobs where I could sit down all day, but none of those jobs lasted very long because of my asthma, my oxygen, my heart failure.
What a liar. She says she has
All right, well, I have a sit-down job. I've had a sit-down job at my house, even at my biggest. But granted, I didn't need an oxygen tube. I don't think I got to that point yet. But what job would not let you take oxygen with you if you needed it? Like, I don't get that.
asthma, she needs oxygen, she's in lung failure. But to me, it sounds like she doesn't even try to do the bare minimum to be a functioning member of society.
And by the time February rolled around, I had a baby girl named Trinity.
I was given this child by CPS when she was 6 days old. She and her husband at the time both proved to the judge very incompetent.
I mean, I just think that's disgusting. Like, we've seen a long line of very bad parents on the show who just cannot take care of their own kids because they're too fat to do it. She's too fat to work. She refuses to take responsibility for herself. Even though she's on oxygen, she still refuses to take care of herself. She's able to have sex, right, and get pregnant, but she can't even be a parent and her kid gets taken away from her. So just a long line of irresponsible negative behavior is putting her on this path, and it's only getting worse.
On top of all that, she has a daughter named Trinity that she does not even have custody of. Child Protective Services deemed Dolly incompetent as a mother, so now the baby's grandmother has full custody.
Today, I'm traveling to Houston to see Dr. Now to try to get help losing weight and getting a more normal life. And I can already tell that we're gonna need to stop for something to eat just for me to get myself through it. I'll put my oxygen on when I get it.
I mean, and that's another thing too. They always use the excuse, we're going to Houston. We're going to Houston. We need food to get through this trip. And it's like, you can't even like try. Like, you're about to go on this very strict diet and you know it's going to be a strict diet. You've seen the show at this point, right? I don't know what season this is, but you've seen the show enough to know you're about to go on a 1,200 calorie diet. Like, if it was me, I'd be doing my best to prepare myself for that. And that's not eating every fast food place on the way to Houston, right?
In here, Mom.
As soon as she gets in the car to go to Dr. Now's office, she says she's gonna need some food to get by. I, for one, am not surprised.
I don't think I'd be much more than 550. How did that happen? It's actually a lot more than I thought I was going to see.
I mean, it's very easy to laugh, and I've done it too, because there was another person I reacted to on here, and she had the same reaction, like, oh, I don't know how I did it. Like, how did I get this big? I was only expecting me to be in the 550s, but I was 593. I'm almost 600 pounds. It's like, I don't understand it. But I do understand it. Like, when you get that big, you don't weigh yourself. Like, you are afraid to weigh yourself. You're in denial about how big you are. You're in denial about how much food you're eating. You miscalculate the amount of food that you're eating. You underestimate it hugely. And so then by the time you've gained all this weight, you don't even realize you've gained weight. Because to you, 50 pounds, it's going to be noticeable. You're going to notice a 50-pound increase. But somebody that big who's in their 500s, almost 600 pounds, you don't notice a 50-pound increase. You just don't notice it.
There's no way I gained that much. That's impossible, unless my scale at home must be wrong then.
Even when she weighs herself at the office, she says her
I mean, it's clear you're not weighing yourself at home. You just don't want to weigh yourself. You don't want to be held accountable for your actions. And so that's what a lot of big people do. They don't even bother with it. Even though they do have scales that go up to 700 pounds now, it's like they don't even bother with it. There was one person on here who was like, I'm not buying a scale. I think it was even Steven Asante, who's like, oh, that scale is too expensive. I'm not going to buy a scale. It's like, you just don't want to know what you weigh, because that scale, when you step on it, is going to hold you accountable. You're going to see the misdeeds and the overeating that you're doing. It's going to be right there, plain as day. But you don't want that accountability.
her scale at home must be broken because there's no way she weighs this much. She's so delusional.
No, it was mainly my husband. He was the one that was feeding me too much.
So he was your enabler?
He was my enabler. My mom's not feeding me too much.
She says all her weight gain is actually her ex-husband's fault and takes no accountability. Shocking.
It's been a couple of weeks since I first saw Dr. Now. And since then, I've been really trying to stick with the diet and also do all the exercises that he talks about in his book. Cheyenne has been helping me a lot with my exercises, and I'm grateful for that.
Well, Cheyenne is somebody who needs to join you on that diet, Dolly. But you're feeding her as much as she's feeding you, and you're taking care of one another. So if you have Cheyenne taking care of you, the odds of you being successful when you have an enabler like that living with you is almost zero.
Because I don't know if I could do as good of a job without her help.
Even after Dr. Now gives her a whole exercise plan, she just sits around on her phone all day. Cheyenne has to motivate her to exercise.
One thing that is not cool is that my mom got rid of all the junk food right when we got back from seeing the doctor. And so that was kind of a shock to my system.
Like I just said, you're going to need to prepare for it. It's a shock to your system. You should have expected it, that you would come home and all the junk food would be gone. Your mom did you a favor by taking it out, but you should have been preparing for this trip by taking it out before you left and getting to that point, withdrawing off of some of this food so it's not as much of a shock to your system. That's how you lose weight.
That she did it so fast. And I wish my mom would have talked to me about it or given me some say-so.
Dolly?
I mean, yeah, exactly. She has such an addictive personality and that sort of toxic relationship to food. She's like, man, I wish I had some say in it. I wish you would have talked to me about it. Like it was some big deal in her life that this food is now gone. So it's like, isn't that why you went to Houston and saw Dr. Now, to get this weight loss program so that you wouldn't eat like that anymore? Why is this such a shock to you that all this the food is gone? It's because it means something to you emotionally, and now that it's gone, it's like you don't have that crutch anymore.
She even says it's uncool that her mom threw out all the junk food in the house without running it by her first. She barely even tries to get used to this new life.
I'm back in Houston to see Dr. Now, and I'm about to find out if I'm at my weight loss goal. Sure, I've been having cravings, but my mom has put the house on lockdown.
You can go ahead and step on the scale. When she gets to her follow-up appointment with Dr. Now, it turned out she only lost 17 pounds.
I don't understand what happened. It doesn't make any sense. I worked so hard. I just don't know how to do more than that.
She immediately...
You don't know how to do more than that. You follow the diet. That's how you do it. And I often criticize the show because I think 50 pounds in a month is way too much. So I don't know if it's been 2 months or 3 months since her last appointment with Dr. Now. It very well could have been two months, and if that's true, then 17 pounds, absolutely not enough. But 17 pounds in a month is not terrible. It's absolutely not terrible. At least it showed she did try some. All right?
Beatley starts crying and whining and says she can't believe it, but I can believe it, Dolly, and so can everyone else who watched.
So how is your breathing coming along?
It seems like it's getting a little bit better, easier. I feel like it was a lot easier for me to walk from your waiting room to here today.
Now remember, she doesn't even try to breathe on her own, and Dr. Now does scold her for using an oxygen tank as a crutch.
We gotta get you off of that oxygen.
Yeah, sure.
And we gotta get you in better shape. You need to work hard to change your life.
I mean, it's interesting to think that people can use something like an oxygen tank as a crutch. It's because, you know, at some point you sort of develop this identity as a fat person. And we see it within the fat acceptance community. It's like that becomes their identity. And along with that is the illnesses and the sicknesses that come along with it. And so wearing an oxygen mask, even if she doesn't need it, I mean, it sounds weird to me and it probably sounds weird to you. I never got to that point where I needed an oxygen tank. But I mean, if you become associated with it and it becomes part of your identity, and you think maybe it makes people feel sorry for you if you have one, I mean, that's just disgusting behavior right there.
And get yourself in a better shape.
And in this scene, Dolly looks like she's just been slapped in the face, which she kind of needs.
I say that I'm going to go get some exercise, but then I don't really exercise. So instead I like to feed the birds or the ducks.
Dolly even admits that she lies and says she has errands to do just so she can get out of the house. She always says she's gonna get exercise when she goes to the park, but she lies and just sits there and eats.
It's been a week since I moved out of my mom's house. Me and my mom had an argument. Sister wife got a hold of me and she said to get a hold of him, so I did. I fell in love with him again all over again.
So I wonder what this argument was. I bet it was mom keeping the lockdown on all the food and yelling at her because she keeps ordering out and wanting to go back to her old lifestyle. And the mom's like, no, I'm not going to have it. So guess what she does? She leaves and moves in with this guy who is probably going to enable her and allow her to have what she wants.
Now in this crazy plot twist, Dolly gets caught lying and returns to her abusive ex's house to escape her mom. But under one condition, she must live as a sister wife with his new woman.
So I met someone a couple weeks ago.
I didn't catch that part. A sister wife? Really?
Oh, and his name is Philip, and he's just about the sweetest guy you're ever gonna meet. And I started dating him, and one thing led to another, and now we moved in together.
After just a week of living with him, she got sick of his behavior and moved in with a new guy she met at a homeless shelter. And I can't even get a text back.
The last month has been really good, and a big part of that is because Philip has been such a good support. And I've been feeling extra encouraged because Philip proposed to me to get married, and I said yes. We haven't set a date yet because we want my surgery to come first.
She says Philip, her new homeless boyfriend, is a godsend. She ends up getting engaged to Philip after barely knowing him, proving she's not even trying to get her 600-pound life together.
That has Tammy vibes right there. Like, Tammy keeps jumping in all these relationships with any guy that shows her attention. And Dolly seems to be doing the same exact thing right here. It's like, I barely know this guy. Oh, we're engaged. We're in love. Like, you're so miserable with yourself. You have such low self-esteem that the first person who's going to come and give you attention, you're going to jump in with them. You don't even know the guy. And two, he's homeless. Like, how is he going to take care of you? Like, why would you get into a relationship with a homeless guy that you don't even know and then get engaged to him? Like, that is really bad decision making right there.
Me and my fiance Philip were living in a hotel here in Houston.
Well, you moved out of your mom's place, and now you're living in a hotel with your new fiance who has no job and you have no job. This doesn't seem like a healthy situation with you. And
yeah, it's definitely not a healthy situation. She keeps making these horrible decisions and it keeps backfiring on her.
your lack of progress shows that, because you only lost 10 pounds in 3 months.
Doctor now rips it.
Wow, 10 pounds in 3 months. She's absolutely not trying at all. Like, she is just so desperate for attention. She's more focused on relationships and all these men and sister wives and all that crap, sex and whatever, that she's not even trying on her diet. I mean, people are giving me flack because I'm like, I'm going to wait to get into a relationship until I'm in a better place. And they're like, well, you don't know if you're going to have tomorrow, Big T. Like, you need to chase what makes you happy right now. I'm like, no, that's a stupid idea. Like, love is important to me. I do want to be in a relationship. I do want to meet somebody and get married and have kids and all that stuff. But right now, my priority is losing the weight. And if you start in a relationship with somebody, like those priorities, other priorities that you have, start to dampen. And I've seen it in so many people who have all these goals and priorities and things in their life. But as soon as they start dating somebody, it's like that all goes out the window, because what's more important to them is the relationship. So yeah, I would like to meet somebody right now, but that is not my priority. My priority is getting my health in order. And that should be Dolly's priority, because she is very near death right now if she does not figure this out. And it's been years since this aired, so she's even more in danger than she was when this aired.
Into Dolly for hardly knowing her fiance and for abandoning her child once again for a man she's only known 6 weeks.
That's your best friend?
Yes.
How long do you know your best friend?
For maybe a year. It feels like we've known each other forever, though.
The reality is that you're choosing the support system with the people you don't really know. After you rejected the support system you needed with your mom.
He ripped.
That's 100% true, too. Like, she rejected the support system she had with her mom because her mom put things on lockdown. So she's gone and lived with Cheyenne. She's gone and lived with this boy that she's engaged to. It's like she's doing whatever she can to get away from the support that she needs, because she's just so desperate not to be separated from her food.
Into her for her fake friendship with Cheyenne too.
Well, me and Philip finally found a house to move into. We found this place online, and what it is, it's like a bunch of people all living there, but everybody has their own room, and it's cheap, and all we had to do was pay the first month to get in, and it comes with a bed and stuff like that, so it's perfect for us.
Her and Philip then move into some trap house together.
That's perfect for you? That place looks absolutely disgusting. I've lived in places like that. Just disgusting, rundown houses that landlords rent for cheap because they rent out every single bedroom of the place. And there's no privacy, there's no peace, it's disgusting, it's littered with bugs and crime and everything else. It's like, why? Why are you doing this to yourself? Why?
Property is so bad she can't even walk through the front door because she thinks the floor's gonna fall through. Even certain parts of the lawn are sinking.
At my last appointment 4 months ago, I weighed 566 pounds. So if I did that, I'd be 506 pounds today.
At the end of the day, all her antics really add up because she did not lose as much weight as Dr. Now wanted her to.
So it seems like you cannot take responsibility for yourself because so far you have shown us you're not willing to do what you need. And we can't wake you up to do that. So this is going to be a long process for you. I think you ought to listen to the guidance from your mom.
She's at the point now of desperation, right? I'm going to leave it right here, guys, but yeah, Dolly's just one of those people who just refuse to try. She's in so much delusional land that she keeps making herself stuck in all these bad situations because she doesn't have to try. As long as she's away from her mom, she doesn't have to try. And I feel real bad for her mom because her mom is trying her best to save Dolly's life, and Dolly doesn't care right now. All she cares about is her delusion. And so I think Dolly's going to be one of those ones that we hear about who later died because she's unwilling to take care of herself. Now, there could be an update on the story and she's actually done it, but I'm really doubting it at this point. So she's somebody I'm probably going to keep a track on and see if she does figure it out or not. But anyways, yeah, that's my video for today. I'm sorry if I seemed overly tired. My brain was a little crazy today. Wednesday. Big Talks with Big T with Starzan, my video with Megan Ann that's going to be on. So I get to take another break from making videos, and my next one will be on Thursday. So I hope to see you guys. I love you all. God bless you.